This is High School Challenge, the varsity sport of the mind. Now, here's your host, Jim Gaber.
Hello, everybody, and we're welcoming you to more High School Challenge, a very special High School Challenge today as we're playing for one more spot in our quarterfinals. We have two terrific teams ready to play for that spot, so let's meet our players right away, shall we? First, from Owosso High School, we have Nick Elliott. Nick is a junior at Owosso, involved with Odyssey of the Mind and band. He's over 4 point last semester. He's majoring in psychology, hoping to get into West Point Military Academy. Megan Dwyer is next. Megan is a junior at Owosso, is in the choir, has academic letter as a Shiawassee scholar, a Champs member, listed in Who's Who, hopes to go to Cambridge and study cultural and political anthropology. Nolan Esser is the captain of the Owosso team. Nolan's a junior, member of Odyssey of the Mind, enjoys astronomy, reading. He's a member of the National Honor Society. He's an academic letter holder, a Champs Math Program member. He has college credit in philosophy at Michigan State. He plans to go to Caltech or University of Chicago and eventually get a PhD in astrophysics. And rounding out the Owosso team is Steve Summers. Steve is a junior. He plans on attending Michigan Tech to be a computer systems analyst. Those are our players from Owosso High School. Now let's meet our team from Carman-Ainsworth. Carman-Ainsworth, we have Brendan Becker. Brendan is a senior at Carman-Ainsworth, is looking to Michigan State, Michigan Tech, or Kettering to study math, engineering, or psychology. Dan Feldman is a junior at Carman-Ainsworth, plays tennis. He's a member of the National Honor Society and on the honor roll and plans on attending the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Captain of the Carman-Ainsworth team is junior Graham Symington. Graham enjoys robotics. He plays tennis. He's a member of the National Honor Society and on the honor roll. He, too, will attend the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor and follow a degree path in computer science. And rounding out the Carman-Ainsworth team is Afshin Humayun. Afshin is a sophomore. He's captain of the Science Olympiad, president of Student Council, active with World Cultures and Book Club. He has a 4-point grade average and hopes to go to college to become a doctor. Those are our players. I remind you that Julie Pritchett of Genesee Intermediate School District is our judge for our competition. Our scorekeeper today is Marissa Sand. Teams, we're ready to go. Here are your rules for round one. About to ask you a series of questions worth 10 points apiece. The player buzzing first may answer when I recognize you. If you're correct, your team scores the 10 points. If you're incorrect, the other team gets a shot at the same question. Remember, you may interrupt me at any time I'm asking a question. No point penalties for incorrect answers. However, at that point, I'll repeat the entire question for the other team. Good luck. Here we go. In addition to 37 plays, Shakespeare also wrote a lot of sonnets. Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Sonnets.
No answer?
Nope.
You thought sonnets was going to be the answer. In addition to 37 plays, William Shakespeare also wrote a lot of sonnets. How many? Was it 52, 102, or 152? Nolan, Owosso?
52.
152. Your next toss-up. It's been described as a beautiful ballad beautifully sung. What is this 2003 hit for Christina Aguilera? Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Beautiful.
Beautiful is correct.
Wow.
This theory describes gravitation as the warping of space. Nolan, Owosso?
Relativity.
Relativity is correct. In 2002, after 4 rejections, this red-headed doll finally made it into the National Toy Hall of Fame, but not her brother Andy. Steve, Owosso?
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann is correct. The United States Constitution begins, "We the people." What 1861 Constitution begins, "We the..." Nolan, Owosso?
The Confederate States of America.
That's correct. If you have a circle with an area of 100 pi, what is the diameter? Nolan, Owosso?
20.
20 is correct. Arrange the following 4 singing voices in order from highest to lowest. Alto, baritone, soprano, tenor. Nolan, Owosso?
Soprano, alto, tenor, baritone.
That's correct. properly used, it refers to a European hawk. More often, it refers to a North American vulture. What kind of, Nolan, Owosso?
Buzzard.
Buzzard is correct. In its own language, this country calls itself Suomi. Which Scandinavian country is it? Is it Finland, Norway, or Sweden? Nolan, Owosso?
Norway.
Norway's incorrect. Carman-Ainsworth, Afshin?
Sweden.
Finland is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. Australia has the second largest sheep population in the world. Nolan, Owosso?
New Zealand.
It's incorrect. Australia has the second largest sheep population in the world, about 123 million of them. What country has even more and 10 times as many people? Carman-Ainsworth, Brendan.
India.
China is the correct answer. Your next toss-up. He meets Bill Sykes, Jack Dawkins, and Fagin after Nolan, Owosso.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist is correct. To determine the year on this calendar, add 3,760 to the year on the Gregorian calendar. Is it the Chinese, Jewish, or Islamic? Nolan, Owosso.
Jewish.
Jewish is correct. China, 1911. Russia, 1917. France, 1789. Let's see, Nick, Owosso.
Revolution.
Revolutions is correct. At the end of his adventures, he decides to, quote, light out for the territory. And Nolan, Owosso.
Huck Finn.
Huck Finn is correct. Your next toss-up teams. The largest Masonic temple in the United States in Alexandria, Virginia, includes a bronze statue of this president 4 times. Nolan, Owosso?
FDR.
It's incorrect. The largest Masonic temple in the United States in Alexandria, Virginia, includes a bronze statue of this president 4 times life-size. Who was this colonial colossus? Carman-Ainsworth, Brendan?
Washington.
Washington is correct. Another toss-up. He discovered the composition of white light by breaking it down with a prism. Who was this 18th century English scientist? Nolan, Owosso?
Newton.
Newton is correct. Lucy Lockett, Jenny Wren, Jack Horner, Cinderella, and Puss in Boots are all characters in her stories and poems. Nolan, Owosso?
Mother Goose.
Mother Goose is correct. Here's another toss-up, teams. It's the science that studies projectiles in Steve, Owosso.
Ballistics.
Ballistics is correct. In the early 1900s, the rapid building of dreadnoughts increased European war power. Was a dreadnought a tank, a submarine, or a Steve, Owosso?
Battleship.
Battleship is correct. Your next toss-up. America's largest research and development center is in Research Triangle Park, surrounded by Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Afshin, Carman-Ainsworth?
North Carolina.
North Carolina is correct. If you take the second star to the right and travel straight ahead until morning, you'll reach this land where the lost boys live with Peter Pan. Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Never Neverland.
That's correct. As opposed to Neverland. Here's your next toss-up. Daladier, Mussolini, and Chamberlain met in this city in 1938 to try to appease Hitler and prevent Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth.
Versailles.
Versailles is incorrect. Daladier, Mussolini, and Chamberlain met in this city in 1938 to try to appease Hitler and prevent war. Where was this conference held? Steve, Owosso?
Geneva.
Munich is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. They are random changes in the genes of cells. Nolan, Owosso?
Mutations.
Mutations is correct. This divine wind, once it... Steve, Owosso?
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze is correct. Sometimes called America's Attic, it includes 16 museums and galleries that contain more than one... Nolan, Owosso.
The Smithsonian Institution.
That's correct. Your next toss-up. Quote, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem all the uses of the world to me, end quote. What really depressed Shakespearean character speaks these lines in his famous soliloquy, Nolan, Owosso?
Prince Hamlet.
That's correct. Originally, they were settlers who jumped the gun in Nolan, Owosso.
Sooners.
Sooners is correct. Here's your next toss-up. In Chinese philosophy, these complementary Nolan, Owosso.
Yin and yang.
That's correct. One more toss-up, teams. Well, we'll have to wait for a while to get to that one. That's going to end round one. Carman-Ainsworth, you're going to have the first shot at round two. That's our lightning round. I'm about to give you a choice of 3 categories. Once you've selected, you'll have 60 seconds to answer up to 10 questions in that category. Remember, you may consult during this round. No need to buzz in. I'll be taking answers from Graham, the team captain. If you don't know an answer, you must say pass before I move on. We'll give you 10 points for each correct answer, a 20-point bonus if all 10 are correct. Once your 60 seconds is up, Carman-Ainsworth, Owosso, you'll have 30 seconds to answer anything they missed, passed on, or didn't get to, and then we'll repeat the process. Carman-Ainsworth, your choices are the 4 Seasons, Just Grand, or Full of Bull.
4 Seasons.
Okay, there are 4 seasons of the year and 1 in every answer to this quiz. So I'll ask you to identify them. And I want the full answers. The seasons are a part of the answers. We begin with number 1, The Boss. His last album was The Rising.
Bruce Springsteen.
Correct. Victoria, Angel, Yosemite, and Niagara.
Falls.
Correct. In the Northern Hemisphere, it occurs on or about June 21st.
Summer solstice.
Correct. It's radioactive dust caused by atomic explosion.
Nuclear winter.
Incorrect. The cooling of the Earth caused by the debris from an atomic blast.
Fallout.
It's incorrect. Oberon, Titania, and Puck are characters in this Shakespearean comedy.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's correct. Mammoth, sulfur, hot, and warm.
Spring.
Correct. Edgar Allan Poe's short story about a premature burial.
No.
Okay, you passed. This flavor of Lifesavers can cause sparks in the dark.
Wintergreen.
Correct. This tide has the greatest highs and lows.
Springtide.
That's correct. And you're through all 10. 2, 4, 7 correct for 70 points. And Owosso will reset our clock to 30 seconds. And we'll start at the top. It's radioactive dust caused by an atomic...
Fallout.
That's correct. The cooling of the Earth...
Nuclear winter.
Say again?
Nuclear winter.
That's correct. Edgar Allan Poe's short story about a premature
Ball of
burial.
the House of Usher.
That's correct. For 30 points on your side, and now Owosso, you may select between Just Grand or Full of Bull.
Grand, please.
Just Grand. You'll feel Just Grand if you can identify these grand people, places, and things with grand in every answer. We begin with number 1. In tennis, it's the French, Australian, and U.S.
Grand Slam.
Correct. The Colorado River runs for more
Grand
than...
Canyon.
That's correct. In dollars, it's what Y2K is equal to.
$2,000.
Correct. It has 88 keys, 3 legs, and a
Grand
lid.
piano.
That's correct. In bridge, you take all the tricks. In baseball, you score 4 runs.
Grand Slam.
Correct. The Spanish name for this big river means big river.
Rio Grande.
Correct. This panel of citizens determines if criminal cases should go to trial.
Grand jury.
Correct. It's a flashy play to impress the folks in the bleachers.
Grandstand.
Correct. It's a pendulum clock in a tall, narrow cabinet.
Grandfather clock.
Correct. In Peter and the Wolf, this character is represented by the...
Grandfather.
Say again?
The grandfather.
And that is 10 out of 10. And with that, Owosso scores 120 points, a 20-point bonus for all 10 correct, and we're going to come back for some extra credit. But first, some other people from Owosso. Let's meet their alternates, including Ellie Weisenbaugh, John Wolf, Ann Harkema, Kaylee Duquette, and Cassie Lester. And with that, we'll be back in a moment with some extra credit. Welcome back, everyone. Before we start our extra credit round, I'd like to introduce you to some special people from Carman-Ainsworth. Carman-Ainsworth team, coached by Catherine Hamady, includes alternates Eric Knopp, Shrikar Vamuri, Mohit David, Ryan Heavner, Michael Pilanigam, Matt Hicks, Samim Kazi, Nabil Dada, and Derek Mori. Those are our alternates from Carman-Ainsworth, and we are ready now for some extra credit teams. Remember, in this round, the rules are the same as round one. The difference here is that correct answers to toss-ups earn your team a shot at 10 points worth of extra credit. Remember, you may consult on the extra credit questions. I'll take the answers from the captains on those, but I warn you to consult on extra credit only and not on the toss-ups. When the bell sounds at the end of the game, if I'm in the middle of a cycle, we play through the cycle before the game is officially over. Good luck with your first toss-up. In 1996, astronomers discovered 33,000 new ones. What are these? Nolan, Owosso.
Asteroids.
Asteroids is correct. Owosso, the movie The Lion King is set on this great African plain in northern Tanzania, bordering Kenya and Lake Victoria. What is it?
The Savannah.
It's incorrect. Serengeti is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. In 1958, he led the first overland trek to the South Pole since 1912. In 1953, he led the first expedition to reach the top of Nolan, Owosso.
Hillary.
Hillary is correct. Owosso, Sigmund Freud divided the mind into id, ego, and superego. What psychologist divided the mind into ego, shadow, persona, anima, and self?
Jung.
That's correct. Next toss-up. Pencils ready. Sometimes division, especially with decimals, can seem more difficult than it is. For example, divide 75 hundredths by 25 thousandths. What's your answer? Nolan, Owosso?
30.
30 is correct. Owosso, it's a uniform haze of photons about 3 degrees above absolute zero with a black body spectrum. It's what's left of the Big Bang more than 13 billion years later. What is CBM?
Cosmic background.
Material.
No.
Matter. Material.
Cosmic background matter.
Incorrect. Cosmic microwave background. That's what I needed. Here's your next toss-up. Middlesex in 2003, Empire Falls in 2002, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, Nolan, Owosso.
Michael Chabon.
That's incorrect. Middlesex in 2003, Empire Falls in 2002, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay in 2001, Interpreter of Maladies in 2000, The Hours in 1999. What prize have all these novels won? Dan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Pulitzer.
Pulitzer is correct. Carman-Ainsworth, in this keyboard instrument, strings are set in motion not by hammers, but by small brass wedges called tangents. What was this ancestor of the piano?
The harpsichord.
Not a harpsichord, clavichord is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. Although it suggests that a country has special status, it actually means that it enjoys the typical trading relationship with the United States that most countries have. What is MFN status? Time's up. Most favored nation is the answer. Another toss-up. More than 3 times as many people die of this disease every day than have been killed by Ebola in all of history. Let's see. Afshin, Carman-Ainsworth?
Cancer.
Cancer is incorrect. More than 3 times as many people die of this disease every day than have been killed by Ebola in all of history. What ancient illness carried by mosquitoes still kills Nolan, Owosso?
Malaria.
Malaria is correct. Owosso, instead of 8 vertices and 6 squares for faces, It has 16 vertices and 8 cubes for faces. What is this topological four-dimensional object?
A tesseract.
That's correct. Here's your next toss-up. In England, the Georgian period was followed by the Victorian era. What age followed the Victorian? Steve, Owosso?
Elizabethan?
That's incorrect. Carman-Ainsworth? Carman-Ainsworth, Brendan?
The Philippians.
Also incorrect. Edwardian is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. It runs 1,500 miles through northern India, Tibet, Bhutan, and Nepal. Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth.
Ganges.
Ganges is incorrect. It runs 1,500 miles through northern India, Tibet, Bhutan, and Nepal. What mountain chain? Nolan, Owosso?
The Himalayas.
Himalayas is correct. Owosso, Modest Mussorgsky composed this musical suite for piano. Maurice Ravel orchestrated it. What was this series of musical sketches set in an imaginary museum?
No answer.
No answer. Pictures at an exhibition is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. She has been called Anne of the Thousand Days. Who was this Queen of England? Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Queen Anne the First.
It's incorrect. Owosso? Time's up. Anne Boleyn is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. It can be a group of stocks, the stakes in a bet, a kind of billiards, or a body of water to swim in. Brendan, Carman-Ainsworth?
Pool.
Pool is correct.
I had it in the second round. I wasn't sure.
Carman-Ainsworth, quote, "We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon," end quote. What African-American poet wrote this poem, "We Real Cool"?
No answer.
No answer. Gwendolyn Brooks is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. In 1575, as a soldier for Spain, he was captured and sold as a slave. After being ransomed, he became a writer and wrote Don Quixote. Nolan, Owosso?
Cervantes.
Cervantes is correct. Owosso, like a prism, it can break light down into its various colors. Unlike a prism, it can also measure their wavelength and intensity. What is this scientific instrument?
Spectrometer or spectrograph? Spectrometer.
I cannot accept that. The answers I have are either spectroscope or spectrograph. Either one of those. Here's your next toss-up. It's the inner wall of your eye on which light is focused. Let's see, Afshin, Carman-Ainsworth?
Cornea.
Cornea is incorrect. Nolan, Owosso?
Retina.
Retina is the correct answer. Owosso, here's your extra credit question. 3 versions of the same text were found on the Rosetta Stone. Egyptian hieroglyphics and Egyptian demotic were 2 of them. What was the third?
Greek.
Greek is correct. Here's another toss-up. He played for the Indianapolis Racers, the Edmonton Oilers. Nolan, Owosso?
Gretzky.
Gretzky is correct. Owosso, when the temperature outside is 10 degrees Celsius, what is the temperature within 2 degrees on a Fahrenheit thermometer? Time is up. It's 50 degrees. And with that, we come to the end of our game and congratulate Owosso for becoming the next of our quarterfinalists here on High School Challenge for this season. And to Carman-Ainsworth, congratulations on a well-played game today and well-played games throughout the season, and good luck to you in the remainder of your competitions throughout the year. We have some more competitions for you here at Michigan Television. We'll be back with more High School Challenge. I'm Jim Gaver. Have a good day. High School Challenge is a co-production of Michigan Television and the Genesee Intermediate School District.